Hi, I'm Michael Archambault here with Windows Phone Central. Today we're going to take a look at consumer and business notebooks. There are two types of notebooks available on the market, and a lot of people don't know the difference between the two. We're going to take an in-depth look at the difference between a consumer notebook and a business notebook so you can have a better purchasing decision when buying your next PC. So one of the greatest examples we have here is actually, I'm going to move these aside, is these two machines we have from Lenovo. These two machines are part of their Yoga series. So this is the Thinkpad Yoga, okay? It's a very nice business machine, okay? And this is the IdeaPad Yoga, which is their consumer line. So these are two similar machines. They're built with the same basic idea that the hinge folds back and we get a tablet. So we have that on this one. And then we have the same thing here on this one. Screen folds back and we get this one's a business tablet now. So what are the differences between these two machines? One of the biggest differences between business machines and consumer machines is the areas of focus that are put on them. With a consumer machine, for example, with this Thinkpad Yoga, with this IdeaPad Yoga, this is the Yoga 2 Pro, we see a lot of money put into the screen of the machine. It's a Super HD 3200 by 1800 resolution screen. The speakers sound great, so there's a lot of focus on multimedia, things consumers would be interested in. Port selection is also something that we see different between the two machines. So while this is a very thin notebook, there's almost no ports on here. Let's see, we have a we have a power charging slot, we have a headphone jack, and then we have another one on the other side along with an SD card and a HDMI. That's a very low number of ports. So if we look at the Thinkpad Yoga here, we have, let's see, we have an SD card slot, we have larger HDMI, we have a Kingston lock port, we have an SD card slot, we have a docking connector on the other side, we have another USB port. That's with this one. Let's take a look at the Dell. So this is the Dell Latitude. This is another business notebook, and we can start to see port selection is an important thing. So we have a USB port here. We have another two USB ports on the back. We have an Ethernet cable, so that's something that not a lot of consumer notebooks have anymore. We have two different types of display out. We have a full HDMI port, and we have a display port on the back. Okay. Now, these two machines are getting more similar, so consumer machines are actually getting a lot more like business machines than they ever have. A lot of businesses are having bring your own device to work, so a lot of manufacturers need to find a balance between the two, but they're still always going to be focused. So in essence, a consumer machine is really focused on what a consumer would want, usually multimedia. So consumer machines tend to be focused around multimedia. One example, if we compare these laptops head to head, the Thinkpad Yoga versus the IdeaPad Yoga 2 Pro, is because really these machines are brothers, but one's business, one's consumer, and we can see the differences. This one's a little bit thicker, okay, and this one's a little bit thinner, and one of the reasons behind that is with the Thinkpad Yoga, they opted for this retractable keyboard, which helps with durability and the longer lifespan of the unit. Talking about longer lifespans, business units usually have a longer part storage. So for example, if you want to get parts for your IdeaPad Yoga in 6 years, that might be a little difficult because the manufacturer only stocks so many parts for so long. They might just tell you it's time to move on. With a business notebook such as the Dell Latitude or the Yoga, so this is the Dell Latitude we have here. This is a great notebook. We're going to be reviewing this. With this Dell Latitude here, you could probably call Dell in 8 years, and in 8 years they would probably still have that part for you. There's just a longer lifespan that's associated with it. So a lot of people think consumer notebooks are a better deal, because when they compare the two side by side, when I take this, Thinkpad Yoga and I compare it to this IdeaPad Yoga, they seem to come out to the same price in certain configurations that are very similar. But the Thinkpad Yoga seems to have lower specs. It has, it's thicker, it's chunkier. It starts with a 500 gigabyte, 5400 RPM drive, which is extremely slow on the machine, while the IdeaPad Yoga Pro 2 has a beautiful sharp resolution screen. The Super HD screen starts at the low price. I believe it starts at $9.99. I could be, it's in that price range, give or take $100. So it almost seems like right out the gate, this is such a better deal than the Thinkpad Yoga. Confusing these names, but really, Thinkpad Yoga is focusing on different areas. While the money here is going to the multimedia aspect, the money here for the Thinkpad Yoga is going into things you can't see, like the part availability for the next few years. The fact that you can't tell, but inside here there's a magnesium alloy roll cage. Something that's expensive, makes the laptop heavier, but it's going to increase durability. If if this thing gets run over by a truck, the drive inside is more likely to stay protected than in this consumer notebook. Okay, so we're talking reliability. We're talking about things stay the same with business notebooks for a while. They like to use ports that have been around. VGA ports, Ethernet ports, those are really hard to find on consumer laptops these days. But if you pick up a business notebook, for example, this Dell Latitude has an Ethernet port in the back. We're starting to see the VGA ports start to disappear, especially on, this is an Ultrabook style notebook. But many business notebooks still carry VGA. And reasons like that are because the Office doesn't upgrade as quick. So maybe the Office projector still uses VGA, so you're going to need laptops with VGA ports on them. There's also, things are more likely to stay the same with a business notebook. This is the Sony Vaio Duo. We're actually going to take a look at this. There's going to be a review coming up for this very shortly. It's long overdue. But this is a interesting, one of the 2-in-1 solutions. We have the ThinkPad 2-in-1 solution right here also. But this one's a little riskier. They went with this slide idea. So this is a consumer notebook. Okay, so something like this is a very risky design idea. This is really new, and this isn't something that would be thrown at a business user usually because it's very experimental. Business laptops usually like to stay the same route for a while, keep people comfortable, and they also share a similarity in parts. So having something as crazy as that Sony is not something likely we're going to see with business notebooks. Sony actually doesn't have a business line right now. They just have their single Vaio line. Dell has the Latitude line and the Vostro line, which is their budget line for business, while Lenovo has ThinkPad, and I don't have any here, but HP has the EliteBook. So in the end, just a quick summary between the Thinkpad Yoga and the IdeaPad Yoga Pro 2, consumer, business. What's the difference? They're same price point, but this one seems to be lower in specs. The money on the consumer notebook, you're getting innovation, you're getting, not to say that this is not innovative, but with a consumer notebook, you're getting stuff a little bit more experimental. You're getting, high resolution display. The speakers in here are just kick-ass. You're really getting a lot of consumer focus. Okay, while the money that goes into this machine right here is really for the repairability, how durable this machine is. Okay, I would be happy, although I won't do it right now, I'd be happy to drop this machine on the floor and know that everything's going to be okay. With a Yoga Pro 2, not really sure if I want to do that. It hasn't been designed with a roll cage or just that ability. That's the difference. A lot of laptops to choose from. There's consumer, there's business. If you want a business notebook, you're going to have to look online. I used business notebooks for a number of years. I used the Lenovo ThinkPad. I love the keyboard. I love the focus on durability and how rugged it was. I could just throw it around in my bag. And there was a really nice focus, especially with ThinkPads and their keyboards. I do use, this is my main machine every day, the Yoga 2 Pro. The high-res, the 2K display basically just won me over. And I realized that I wanted a consumer-focused machine. But you can take a look online. You can go to Dell.com, HP.com, Lenovo.com. I think Toshiba has business line notebooks also. So you could head there, take a look, see what you like best. You're not going to find them in Best Buy. That's a consumer-focused store. But there's a lot of choices out there, and hopefully this will help you choose between a business notebook, reliability, durability, or a consumer notebook. Latest tech and multimedia focus. So I hope that helped. See you guys.